Welcome to the deep dive, tailor-made just for you. Today we're plunging into something really personal, often, well, pretty daunting, post-prostatectomy recovery. But we're looking at it through the lens of exercise, how powerful that can be. We've got insights from a patient's actual journey and expert guidance from a physical therapist. So, picture David. He's 58, a marathon runner, and he's facing this robotic, radical prostatectomy. His biggest fear, honestly, never being the same. Worrying about incontinence, but never running again, just feeling permanently altered. It's a big one.
Oh, absolutely. That fear is completely universal and, totally understandable. It's really vital to grasp this early on, the surgery recovery itself, maybe weeks. But the full journey, back to continence, back to strength, that can easily stretch out for months, sometimes even up to a year. It's a rebuilding process, not a quick fix.
Right. Which brings us to our end today. What if we could show you, step by step, how a smart, progressive exercise plan doesn't just help you get through recovery, but actually makes it empowering? What if you could come out of this not just, back to normal, but maybe even stronger, more tuned into your body? Let's dig in. Let's start right at the beginning. David's first few days post-surgery were, well, pretty surprising. Counterintuitive, really. Day one, the nurses have him up, walking the hallways. He told us they were aiming for a mile, or like 25 laps. He literally said, I thought they were crazy.
Yeah, it does sound kind of intense, doesn't it? Especially right after major surgery, but it really challenges that gut feeling we all have, that stillness is always best for healing. Actually, there's solid science behind getting moving early. It helps prevent really serious things like blood clots, reduces complications, and it literally kickstarts the healing. Tells your body, okay, time to rebuild.
And how did you feel?
Well, David said he initially felt like he was 90 years old. But interestingly, by day 3, he actually started looking forward to those walks. He felt like he was reclaiming something, taking back control, even with the catheter still in, which usually stays for about 2 weeks.
Okay, so that's the hospital. Then he gets home. And like so many people, he figured, right, now it's time to really rest. Just lie low, let nature do its thing. He admits now that was a big mistake. By week 3, he felt totally wiped out. His back was killing him from doing nothing. And emotionally, he said he was in a dark place. Really paints a picture.
It does, and it highlights why complete rest isn't the answer here. After this kind of surgery, your body needs gentle, progressive movement to heal properly. Staying still for too long, that leads to muscle weakness, stiffness, a whole cascade of issues, physical and mental.
So what was the turning point for him?
It was pretty stark, actually. He tried to pick up his 5-year-old grandson and almost fell over, just didn't have the stability. That moment, around 4 weeks after surgery, was the wake-up call. That's when he finally decided, okay, I need professional help.
Wow. So he seeks out physical therapy? And that first session sounds like it was humbling. Here's a guy who could deadlift 300 pounds before surgery, right? Strong guy. And he couldn't do a proper pelvic floor contraction. He knew what it was, sort of, this muscle sling. But actually engaging it, nothing.
And that's so common. Honestly, it's completely normal. The pelvic floor really is a hidden powerhouse for most men. You just don't think about it until you suddenly need it to work. So the basic exercise, the Kegel, it's about pulling those muscles up and in. Hold for 5 seconds, then fully relax for 5 seconds. Repeat that 10 times, and you aim for maybe 3 sets a day.
But David really struggled at first. He said he'd try. He'd end up clenching his butt muscles or his abs, even holding his breath. Just wrong muscles entirely.
Exactly. The key is isolation. That's the tricky part.
He mentioned pain, too, like in his stomach or back, if he was doing it wrong.
Yes, that's a good sign you're compensating, using those bigger surrounding muscles instead of the deep pelvic floor ones. So we often use visualization cues. Imagine you're trying to stop the flow of urine midstream, that internal lift. That's the feeling you're after. Or sometimes we say, imagine trying to pick up a small marble with those muscles.
Right. And David, he came up with his own cue. He said it was kind of embarrassing, but it worked like magic for him. He imagined trying to suck a golf ball up into his pelvis.
Huh. Okay, well, whatever works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the takeaway, isn't it? You need to find your image, your connection, that unique visualization that makes it click for you. That's absolutely key.
Precisely. That personal connection makes all the difference in mastering the technique.
So, okay, he starts getting the hang of the Kegels, but that was just square one, right? His PT had a whole plan. It started with basic breathing exercises, then moved into things like modified bridges, gentle stretches. It was really structured. And crucially, remembering those first 6 weeks are for healing those abdominal incisions. So absolutely no heavy lifting.
Yes, that progressive approach is fundamental. Let's break it down a bit. Weeks 1 to 2, catheter is likely still in. Focus really is gentle walking. Consistency, not speed or distance. Plus deep breathing, maybe some light ankle pumps just to keep circulation going, prevent clots.
Practical tip you mentioned.
Oh yeah, use a leg bag for the catheter drainage, makes moving easier. And loose-fitting pants are your best friend. Sweatpants, basically.
David definitely lived in athletic wear then.
I bet. Then, weeks 3 to 6, catheter usually comes out. Now's the time to really start focusing on those Kegels we talked about, getting the technique right. You also add in some gentle stretching and gradually, slowly increase your walking distance.
But still no lifting heavy things.
Absolutely critical. Nothing over, say, 10 pounds. This is where David made that mistake. Tried to lift a bag of mulch around week 4.
Oof. Yeah, he learned that lesson the hard way. A definite setback.
It's a potent reminder. Your body is still healing internally. So, weeks 6 to 12. Now you can start introducing some light resistance. Think resistance bands, chest presses, rows. Wall push-ups are great. Modified squats, too, as long as they don't put pressure on your core.
And this phase, David said, was when things really started to shift mentally for him.
Yeah.
Around week 6, he stopped thinking of himself as broken and started seeing it as rebuilding. That was his word, rebuilding.
That is such a powerful mindset shift.
He started keeping an exercise journal, too, tracking everything, celebrating the small wins.
Which is so incredibly important because the research is clear it can take up to a full year to see the maximum results from all this work. So framing it as a long-term rebuilding project, not some quick fix, that's crucial for staying motivated and avoiding burnout.
Totally. And his walking program really shows that progressive approach. Started super small, 10 minutes twice a day. They just added 5 minutes each week. Simple. By week 10, he was comfortably walking for 45 minutes straight.
Steady progress.
And then the big moment. Week 16, he completed his first 5K race since the surgery. He said he actually got emotional at the finish line. Not just because he finished, but because his continence was so much better. He had only one tiny leak the whole race. Just incredible.
That's fantastic. It really shows what consistent patient effort can achieve.
But, recovery's never just a straight upward line, is it? David had bumps in the road.
Always.
He mentioned a really discouraging week around week 8. He'd pushed himself a bit too hard with activity, and the leakage actually got worse for a few days. Felt like a major step back.
Very common when you overdo it.
And then later, around week 12, he'd caught a cold. Just a regular cold, but it totally knocked him for 6. Set his energy levels way back, made him feel like he was starting over with his exercises.
And that's such a vital message for anyone listening who's going through this. Setbacks like that. They are absolutely detours, not failures. They're a normal part of any significant recovery. Progress ebbs and flows. We know the average time, the mean time, to achieve continence with these kinds of exercises is around 3.5 months. But that's just an average. Everyone's timeline is unique. You need patience, self-compassion, understand these dips are temporary.
So let's jump forward. David now, 6 months after surgery. What does success look like? He says he's about 95% continent, only needs a very light pad, and only for really intense workouts, just in case.
That's excellent progress.
He's running 20 miles a week again. He's back to weight training. And here's the kicker. He honestly feels stronger now than before the surgery.
And that right there is the really profound potential outcome. Strategic, consistent exercise doesn't just get you back to baseline. It can genuinely improve your muscle strength, your overall physical function beyond where you started. You can literally become stronger.
Which leads to a question for you listening right now. How do you define success on this journey? It doesn't have to be running marathons like David. Maybe for you, success is playing chase with your grandkids without a second thought. Or taking a long road trip without planning every single rest stop. Or maybe it's just feeling confident walking into a room again, not worrying. Your definition is the one that matters.
Absolutely. And remember that timeline full results can take up to a year. Patience is key. But celebrate those small wins, seriously. The first night you wake up dry, the first long walk without any leaks, the first time you belly laugh without that little clench of worry, those moments, they're huge. They fuel you for the longer journey.
So David put together what he calls his essential home exercise guide, based on what worked for him. Number 1, master that basic Kegel. Get the technique right. Quality, not just quantity.
Crucial.
Number 2, a progressive walking program. Consistency is everything. Don't worry about speed early on, just show up. Number 3, modified bridges. Lying on your back, knees bent, lift the hips slowly, squeeze that pelvic floor, hold for 5, 10, eventually maybe 30 seconds. Great for core and glutes without strain.
Good one.
And number 4, Resistance band exercises,
Uh-huh.
things like chest presses, rows, maybe some gentle squats later on, just
Yeah.
gradual all-body strength building.
That's a really solid foundation. I'd add one more, a fifth element, diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing.
Ah, okay. Tell us about that.
You just lie down comfortably, one hand on your chest, one on your belly. Focus on breathing deep into your belly so the hand on your belly rises, not the one on your chest. Then, as you exhale slowly, gently engage that pelvic floor. It seems simple, but it's deeply connected to pelvic floor function, and it's fantastic for managing stress, too.
That's a great point. The stress, the emotional side, it's huge, isn't
Yeah.
it? David was really open about that.
Mm.
Grief, anger, fear. He felt it all. But he said exercise became his therapy, those daily walks. They weren't just physical. He said they saved his mental health in those tough early weeks.
Absolutely. And on a practical level, David made some smart adjustments that really boosted his confidence day to day, like planning bathroom breaks before going out, using apps to map public restrooms on his routes, even keeping a change of clothes in the car just in case.
Preparation equals confidence, he called it.
Exactly. Small things that remove the anxiety, let you live your life.
He also talked about mistakes to avoid, things he saw or maybe even did himself, like thinking you can just power through this recovery like it's a sports injury. Doesn't work that way.
No.
Or giving up when you hit a setback, being too embarrassed to ask for help,
Mm.
rushing back to your old workout routine way too soon.
All common pitfalls.
And two big ones, as PT mentioned. Some men neglect the pelvic floor work entirely, maybe feel it's, I don't know, not manly enough, or they go the other way. Focus only on Kegels and ignore overall fitness.
Right, and that highlights a key point. Your body is an integrated system. Your posture, your core strength, how you breathe, it all impacts continence and recovery. You can't just isolate the pelvic floor. It's about the whole picture.
So what helped David most? Resources. He said working with a pelvic floor specialist was an absolute game changer. Couldn't recommend it enough.
Definitely.
Online support groups were great too, connecting with others who get it. Educational videos for exercise form.
Yeah.
And keeping that recovery journal. Tracking progress, symptoms, wins.
And I'll echo that about the specialist. Finding a PT who specifically focuses on men's pelvic health can make a world of difference. And please, there is zero shame in seeking that help. It's healthcare. It's about getting your life back.
So if you're listening and just starting this journey, what's David's #1 piece of advice? It's simple but really powerful. Start where you are, not where you think you should be.
That's perfect.
Consistency is everything, he said. Even tiny steps done consistently add up.
And building on that, please get professional guidance. Don't try to figure this all out alone. The right support team, a good PT, maybe a support group can honestly be the difference between struggling for years and really thriving in months.
David also shared this thought, that this whole difficult experience, it can actually leave you stronger, more connected to, more aware of your own body than ever before, like a forced masterclass in self-awareness.
It truly can be. So let's offer some immediate action steps depending on where you might be right now. If you're pre-surgery, seriously, start learning basic pelvic floor contractions now. Research shows it makes a huge difference post-op.
Good tip.
If you're in those first 2 weeks after surgery, focus on that gentle walking, consistency over intensity, and those basic deep breathing exercises. That's it. And if you're past the 6-week mark, now's the time to get serious about that progressive exercise training. Build on the basics. Work with a PT if you can.
Okay, final thought for you to chew on. We've seen how structured effort, consistency, and that rebuilding mindset can transform this really challenging physical recovery, turning it into unexpected strength, unexpected self-awareness. So the question is, what other areas of your life could benefit from that same approach? Where else could that rebuilding philosophy make a difference for you?
Because in the end, recovery isn't just about getting back to where you were before. It's about strategically rebuilding and maybe becoming an even stronger, more resilient version of who you're truly meant to be.